The Icons of Real Estate Podcast. Are you ready to learn the proven money-making secrets from top-producing icon agents? Ready to skyrocket your business? This podcast is for you. Tune in every week and find out how to implement proven strategies to 10 times your business. From $3 million to $30 million in just 12 months. Brought to you by the Masters in Real Estate Marketing, Arter SEO.
Welcome to the Icons of Real Estate podcast. I'm your host, Ken Elvin, and today's guest has been raising Miami Beach property values since 2005, slowly mastering her craft and becoming a billion-dollar agent twice over in the process. Here to share just how she is getting and setting the market's pace in Southern Florida, Executive Director of Sales for Douglas Elliman, Dina Goldentayer. Dina, welcome to the show.
For having me. Good morning.
Absolutely. I mean, we talk about icons of real estate, and I think someone who's made over $2 billion worth of transactions definitely, as you know, they've paid the price for admission into that club. But there's a journey behind all of it. There's a story. You're the best person to tell that story. So floor's over to you. Take us on that journey.
Well, the journey has not been a quick one. I received my real estate license at the age of 23. So I've been in the business for 18 years. The last 2.5 years, I've completed over 1.5 billion in sales. So naturally, those last 2 years were way more exciting than the prior 16. Yeah, it is not a bad time to be a real estate agent in South Florida.
So would you say in some way, shape, or form you were building up that momentum, you're building up that pipeline, and the results of that consistency most likely is the reason why, like you've said, in the last 3 years, everything has boomed.
I mean, South Florida has these extra benefits of, geopolitical reasons why other affluent individuals from around the country have chosen to make Miami and Palm Beach home, as well as other marketplaces, of course. So we have had an extra push beyond the COVID bump that most of the world experienced in housing.
Oh, I love that. And I mean, you've pretty much been in Miami selling during your entire your property career, right?
I did. I received my license in Florida, and that's where I.
Awesome. And that is a great story. I do appreciate you telling it. But there's another thing I wanna get into, and that's luxury real estate. Because I mean, when I say luxury real estate, I'm not necessarily talking about what might seem as luxury real estate just for Miami, because those prices can get quite up there. But I think for the average consumer, that's your luxury. Everything falls into luxury the moment it starts to approach the $1 million mark. So when we're doing luxury real estate, you have to be able to bring a little bit extra to the table. What would your advice be for any realtor trying to get into luxury or higher price point models if they're struggling?
Their marketing. What I have found is that people who have luxury assets tend to keep them of a certain condition. And I always point out that my marketing is so stellar that's a reflection of their asset, right? Because what I specialize in, it's not necessarily just multi-million-dollar properties, which I do. Most of my sales are 10 million plus. Every asset I represent, whether it's 1 million or 100 million, tends to be best in class. So owners have really taken the time and the money to improve their homes and properties to such a high degree that I win them over with my marketing because I take such pride in the presence.
So you're leveling up on your listings. That's your secret.
Well, I'm only taking properties. I'm only representing the type of properties that I find visually exciting.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So it's almost nothing you wouldn't live in yourself.
I always use that. I always use that line because it's true, right?
Fantastic.
Like when you live in a certain neighborhood, it's much easier to sell in that neighborhood because you're truly selling the lifestyle because you live in it.
Yeah.
Same with the properties. If I walk through a home and it's beat up and it hasn't been maintained or it smells or something like that, I'm not a right fit for that property because I wear my heart on my sleeve, and a potential buyer can see when I'm really excited and I can transfer that excitement and it makes me a more effective salesperson. If I'm walking through a property and the love isn't there, it's not fair for that owner to have me represent it.
That's fantastic. I love how you're bringing almost an element of personal chemistry to the process, and it reminds me of something that one of the
Yes.
greatest one of the most iconic salesmen ever, Zig Ziglar. He advocated, don't sell anything you wouldn't use yourself or aren't using yourself. So I like the way you're approaching that.
Well, I'm gonna Google who Zig Ziglar is.
Yeah, he's iconic in the way that he pretty much set like the model for door-to-door salesman. I think he used to sell pots and pans. So I mean, to be recognized as such a good salesman when you're selling pots and pans, that's quite something. But you yourself, I mean, I've given you enough time up until now, and you haven't started to brag about yourself. So that's something that I know all of my guests have a struggle with. So I'm going to do it for you. You're number one in a few national sales categories and ranked within the top 3% of national realtors. I've seen you've also been named on Forbes list and on the wall and recognized by the Wall Street Journal. I'm sure the list goes on, but what would you say has been personally your best achievement?
Well, I would say my best achievement was achieving those, accolades while I was pregnant. I've had 2 kids in the last 2.5 years, which also coincides with my career booming, and with Mother's Day being yesterday, at least in the States, it definitely is top of mind.
And were you spoiled a lot for Mother's Day yesterday?
Not really,
What are the ages?
My son is 2 years and 9 months, and my daughter's 10 months. I mean, I guess like
probably a little too young to start bringing you breakfast in bed. So I think they're off the hook.
Yeah, my husband definitely made sure it was a special day for me, but awesome. I wanted to my kids and not just be, queening in bed.
I love that. Now I've got to say, you're my first ever guest from Douglas Elliman. Am I saying that name right?
Yes, Douglas Elliman.
Awesome. So what is it about this brand in particular that you're the biggest fan of?
Well, Douglas Elliman is a national company with an international partner of Knight Frank. And where the firm specializes in is the top markets that the buyers to Florida are coming from. So markets like Manhattan, Hamptons, Aspen, Boston, Los Angeles, those are where the firm is really strong in. They're either number one in the marketplace or right behind it. So it's incredible because our firm is not a franchise firm. There's one chairman, his name is Howard Lorber. All the top producers have access to him. So there's a connectivity between the markets. So we always know when there's a big buyer in town. So we grab him or her.
Love it. It's almost like you guys are those real estate concierges in a way.
In a way, but there's definitely something about not being in a franchise, which I have been. I was at Sotheby's for many years, which is a franchise, and there's a lot of bureaucracy in that, right? It's not like you pick up one call. You don't make one call, you call the owner and say, oh, this billionaire's in town, what do you have over 30 million? It doesn't work like that. There'd be a form to fill out, there'd be red tape, it'd be a whole process. So having one chairman and being in the top markets nationally, really helps us be the leader in those markets.
Fantastic. And how long have you been the sales director or executive sales director? So I mean, both titles sound cool, but whichever one.
The title really is just that. It's just the title to acknowledge that I sell a lot. I don't actually have any corporate responsibility. I'm just
That's the best.
Yeah.
That's the best. all the benefits, none of the responsibilities. That's right up my alley.
I mean, the responsibility is like anyone who's a realtor, right? Find buyers for my listings, find my buyers their dream homes.
And I have to imagine as well, you're in a way a face, if not the face of the brand. But let's talk about that, because we were talking about marketing earlier, specifically for listings. But how are you as an individual, as a team, as a company, choosing to put your brand out there in front of clients?
Right now, what I'm really focusing on is other markets. So I have a billboard going up in the 2 markets nationally that are really being affected by taxes, who are often running away from their states because of their state's taxation policies. So for example, I have a massive billboard in Palo Alto, California right now, where they are obviously dealing with a lot of economic deficiencies on the part of their states. And I have a new billboard going up in Boston where they've recently passed the mansion tax, basically targeting individuals with expensive real estate whenever they sell. So I'm targeting those buyers with massive billboards in the areas where the affluent, congregate.
So it's almost like solution-based marketing. You're getting ahead of the problem that's coming and saying, by the way, just in case you didn't know, this thing's about to happen, but don't stress. You can call
We're
us.
not
We've got
doing
you covered.
South Florida, right? And I'm targeting the launch of the campaigns with the dates that the policies are going into effect. So it definitely creates a pretty big presence.
Awesome. And at some stage in every realtor's career, you don't have the benefit of repeat clients and referrals, which is by far the best of any sort of business you can get. But when you need to, or when you needed to, what was your go-to for generating new business?
Cold calling, door knocking, the traditional stuff.
I love that. Okay. And when real estate's driving you crazy, how do you unwind?
That's a good one. I mean, I'm definitely in full workaholic mode. I've just created that as a lifestyle. In prior moments in my career, whenever I would try to compartmentalize, okay, these are the days I work, and these are the hours I start, and these are the days, when I created all these boundaries is when I actually found that I had more stress. Because, for example, I'd say, okay, I'm putting my phone away. And right as I was about to do it, a broker calls me and we have a negative exchange because I was entering, calm mode. Once I just accepted that I've chosen a career that doesn't really have off days, it really took away a lot of the stress, right? It just became like, this is my lifestyle.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a bit more acceptance about those challenges, and recognizing, hang on, I wouldn't have it either other way. I'm sure you feel that way, even on the days that annoys you.
I don't really find the career, or the days annoying. No one likes to lose a deal. No one likes to not win a listing. But that's par for the course in any sales position, right?
Yeah.
I definitely find the highs are so much more extreme than the lows. So I definitely think it's just important to always be resilient and learn from whatever's going on if you do have a negative day.
Awesome. So a lot of my guests are coming through and saying 2023 is shaping up in a big way for them. Same happening for you?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think that Miami's very seasonal. The winter months are considered, obviously to be more prime. Many owners list their homes to be on the market for the kickstart of season, which is Art Basel. But I am actually anticipating that we're going to have a good summer. Some of the big sales. Yeah, some of the big sales that we expected to see January, February, March didn't really materialize. So having them come together for April, May, June just kind of propels us to have an awesome summer. So I'm planning not to travel. I'm hoping all my colleagues and competitors do travel. So I'm going to be here, boots on the ground, picking up all the big business.
If you're any one of Dina's competitors and you happen to find in your post box full all expenses paid tickets for a long trip, it has nothing to do with this conversation.
Right. That wouldn't be devious.
Yeah, I mean, if you do it, please don't frame me for it.
Come down to South Africa. The time difference is really conducive to doing business on the East Coast.
I think so. So, anything else cooking? Anything else cooking in the pipeline that we can expect? Big things for you and the team?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think my marketplace is in need of more top-end product. I have a pending sale right now at 40 million. I wish that there was more yeah, it's a nice one. I wish we had more product to sell of that caliber, but people with homes of that level, they don't really want to sell because they ask this question that I hear so often: where will I go? So it's really hard to convince people with the best homes in Miami Beach to part ways with them, because the where will I go question is a good one, right? And I often tell them, you're going to go into a condo, right? It's going to be a beautiful condo. You're not going to have to deal with a bunch of staff and landscapers and pool persons and just have a more simple life. But not everybody's drinking that Kool-Aid, and still post-COVID, it's really hard to get someone to let go of a stunning backyard and step into a condo elevator button. So we're still struggling with getting more incredible product out there. But every other sector of the marketplace definitely has a nice amount of healthy inventory. So any buyers who think that we don't have something for them to buy in Miami, they're wrong. We definitely have, good quality available product. You can now negotiate 5 to 10% off list price as opposed to 18 months prior where, I was
Yeah.
marketing my house, sold at full ask, right? I had literally a year where half my listings were sold at full ask, which certainly doesn't give buyers much
That's
leverage.
fantastic. Yeah, awesome. So I always like to round off my episodes in the same way. Someone's in Miami Beach, Florida. There's the southern areas of Florida. They want to link up with you either to refer one of their clients through to you, or maybe even chat about collaborating. What's the best way to reach you?
The best way to reach me is on my Instagram at Goldentayer. I'm obviously obsessed with it. I'm on it all day, like almost everybody else. So you can definitely connect with me that way, or you can send an email to dinaoffice@elliman.com. Definitely, I'd love to connect. And if you're a buyer for the marketplace, I'll call you back in 5 minutes.
Awesome. Dina, I really appreciate you making the time to come through. I think you're onto some rock and roll techniques, and I hope that when you're cracking the 5-10 billion mark in sales, that you'll be willing to come back to the show and give us an update.
For sure. My goal this year is to hit a $75 million sale. That's the goal.
Nice. Well, I'm going to be paying attention I'm going to hold you to it. You hit that one, you need to come give us an update, a blow by blow of that deal. Unless it happens to be one of those unicorns where nothing goes wrong.
Well, that never happens.
Never, ever. But thanks so much, Dina. And from myself, Ken Elbin and Icons of Real Estate Podcast, and Dina Goldentayer over in Miami Beach, Florida. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Thank you so much. Nice to meet you.